Ellen DeGeneres had a kerfuffle. She sat at a football game with George W. Bush and seemed to be friendly with him. And this caused an outrage. Now, just the days before that, I posted on Facebook my action figure. It was the National Action Figure Day. And I posted my George Bush action figure. Very exciting. It doesn't work anymore. You used to be able to do this, and he would talk to you. Anyway, I posted that, and poor Ellen and I received so many letters and telegrams criticizing us, both of us. Oh, and I thought the criticism was in three different categories. Why you should not be friends with George W. Bush. Number one, he's a war criminal. He's the most destructive president in modern times. Now, I thought, well, more destructive than Harry Truman with Nagasaki and Hiroshima? And even after World War II, if you think about the Korean War, that was pretty destructive, guys. Dwight D. Eisenhower finishes up the Korean War, and we overthrow governments in Iran and Guatemala and Africa, and then you get to John F. Kennedy and the problems in Cuba, and then he dies in Johnson. Johnson does Vietnam. Well, go back to John F. Kennedy. He okayed the assassination of the president of Vietnam, which I argue locks us into Vietnam. So when Johnson becomes president, we get stuck there. That seems a little more destructive than George W. Bush. And then Nixon. Now, do we blame Nixon? He inherited Vietnam from Johnson. That's not his fault, is it? I think we do. Which means when Bush leaves office and Obama takes over, and he inherits Afghanistan and Iraq and does all those drone strikes killing many people, is he a war criminal also? And in that case, aren't all American presidents war criminals? When was the last time we declared war? December 8th, maybe, in 1941, right after Pearl Harbor. That was the last declaration. All these other wars have been police actions. The second attack is how dare Ellen do that? She's betraying the LGBT community. And I thought, well, really? Did George Bush do terrible things to LGBT people? Did he put them in camps and stuff? No! Even worse, listen to this. Listen to this quote. This is what he said to Rick Warren in 2008. Remember, 2008 is when California is voting on whether we should have gay marriage or not. And the vote was that marriage should be only between a man and a woman. And by the way, California passed this vote. But listen to what he says. Oh, he doesn't say anything there because it's blank, isn't it? I'm sorry. I'll have to read it here. I believe that marriage is a union between a man and a woman. For me, as a Christian, it's also a sacred union. God is in the mix. How dare you, Ellen DeGeneres, sit next to that man after he says things like that? Of course, you know me. I'm lying. That was Obama. Obama said that in 2008, kids. Really? You want to be attacking Obama? Everybody said that in 2008 if you wanted to get elected, for crying out loud. Show me one bad thing that George Bush has done after 2008, after the politics are all over, against the LGBTQIA community. Now, the third thing I think is actually these people are crazy, don't get me wrong, but this would be an actual reason why you would not sit next to George W. Bush. George W. Bush blew up the World Trade Center. That's crazy. It's conspiracy theory. But if you believe this crazy conspiracy theory, then George W. Bush is the most evil man in American history. More evil than FDR, who allowed all those people to die at Pearl Harbor. He didn't do that. That's a conspiracy theory, too. It's not true. Those people, if you believe that, which again I don't believe at all, I think it's crazy, but if you believe that, then maybe you would not want to be friends with George W. Bush. Everyone else, come on, be friends with George W. Bush. I don't understand.